Yo, Counter Attack Podcast, myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. Another video, back to back. Told you. So, this is going to be a quick one, just to say that they've sacked Ange Postecoglu. And I have to admit, I didn't see the Ange Postecoglu sacking coming. I really did think that because he got them into Europe, even though their form was really, really bad. Because, do you know what it is? As I look at it, I look at what your targets were at the beginning of the season. And if one of the targets was to get into Champions League qualify for Champions League, then I would think that that's been achieved. Granted, what you didn't expect was for them to finish so badly or for them to perform so badly in the league. But I do think because he did get them Champions League and because, he's the first one to deliver a trophy for them in however many years, since 2008, I think. I just thought they were going to give him a bit more time. So I am a bit surprised by that. I thought they were going to give him till maybe mid of next season, because when you look at the fact that they've also had so many injuries over the course of the season, more money's going to be coming in. And just to be honest, he's delivered a trophy, which is all Tottenham have wanted for however long, to get that trophy, to get, the European qualification. Now that they've got it, I'm just a bit surprised. What I think he should have done, to be honest, I think he should have left anyway. I don't think they should have sacked him, but I do think he should have left. And I think that if he had left after, it would have allowed him to go with pride. Even though he says he feels so much pride, regarding his time at Tottenham. I think that if he had just left at the end, it's like, do you know what? I've had to deal with so much rubbish since I've been here. I've given you your trophy. Let me go out now. And just like mic drop moment. Because now the narrative changes into like, you were underperforming. You get the sack. You weren't good enough. Yes, you won us a trophy, but you weren't good enough. Even though Tottenham weren't good enough. So, I'm just a bit surprised by that, to be honest. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think it would happen so quickly. But to be honest, if you're going to sack him, just get it done quickly, which is what they have done. And it'll be interesting to see who goes in after him. I know they've been linked so far with Thomas Frank and Marco Silva. And I think those would be good appointments. I think Marco Silva would be a really good appointment too. Thomas Frank, would he want to go? Would he feel like now's the time for him to leave Brentford? I don't know, but just remains to be seen, because to be honest, even though Tottenham are a Champions League side now, whichever manager comes in, they still have a lot of work to do. And I don't want that Europa League triumph to paper over the cracks in regards to how much needs to be done at Tottenham. So, yeah, man, that's that. Gabriel signed a new contract. Listen, and this ain't to talk down on William Saliba, because everyone knows William Saliba, crazy centre back, very, very, very good centre back. But I've maintained for however long that Gabriel is, for me anyway. And this ain't, this whole part isn't about comparing the two or whatnot. This is more about bigging up Gabriel. I think he has been Arsenal's best centre back for however long now. I think that, if we look at ceilings, we obviously know that Saliba has the better ceiling. But Gabriel, in terms of what he's doing now, in terms of how he allows or makes Saliba perform next to him, and just the leadership that he shows, he deserves this new contract. And it would have been a bigger blow for Arsenal, I think, in this moment in time, if Gabriel was to leave out of the two, because he is that good. I think that a lot of the time he goes, his performances go underrated, especially away from home, when we need those, those players to like dig in and be counted. I think Gabriel, honestly, proper good defender, and he deserves this contract. I don't know how much it is a week. I've not really looked into the details, but I would hope that it pushes him into the highest earners in terms of centre backs in the league. But yeah, I think for Arsenal, that's a very good bit of business, nailing him down. Saliba's got a long-term contract, I think. So yeah, now it's just about, the other end of the pitch. And I'm seeing today on Fabrizio Romano that talks with Sesko are now advancing. And Do you know what? If Arsenal get a striker, I'm just happy with that. I'm happy that it will be a striker that people, nah. I said on my last pod that I don't like to keep up to date with the transfer news and stuff like that because of stuff like this. All the strikers that are currently about right now, whether we can get them or not. So you got Isak, obviously, very unlikely. You got Gyökeres, you got Osimhen, and then you got Sesko. Of all of those strikers, Sesko is the one that I would want the least, but that's the one they're advancing for. And Arsenal have a real chance here to really push on and just make the statement signings needed to go and win the league. Because when you look at Arsenal and you look at how they perform, we all know that they're just one striker away and maybe a bit of squad depth away from winning the league. The other teams, when you look at Pep's team, he's made a lot of changes that are coming in. They're all going to have to be integrated. They're all going to have to get to a point where the team is also performing better than they did last season. Arsenal are a ready-made team, I believe. And I just feel like if you just put the right players in, buy the right players, it'll just make everything just way easier and, give them a real chance of actually winning that trophy that we all want them to win. So, if they get Sesko, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I'll support it. But I just think that there's just better options out there right now. Let me see what else there is to quickly cover. This is a quick one, by the way. Just gonna check Fabrizio. This is how I check what's going on. What do you call it? I find it interesting that Kepa, it'll be, to be honest, as a number 2 keeper, if Kepa comes in as number 2, then so be it. David Raya plays quite a few games. He's not really one to get injured a lot, and Kepa would be an upgrade, I think, on our last number 2. Neto, would he be an upgrade on Ramsdale? I'm not sure, but as far as number 2s go, I think he'll be a good addition. I was a bit surprised by that one, to be honest. Angel Gomez going to Marseille. That's interesting. So Gabriel's contract, I'm looking till 2029. I love this club. I love the supporters, my teammates, stadium. I'm so proud and thank you for all the support. We continue together for the future. Yes. Ooh. So on my last pod that you lot saw, obviously Fabregas was, I think, front runner for the Inter job, but now it's looking like, well, here we go. Christian Chivu has signed as the new manager and talks with Cesc were off. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. But yeah, that was just a quick one to just give you something for Saturday. I want to put this out because I already put one out today. It's going to be a bit difficult to do so. But yeah, no, really surprised that they sacked Ange Postecoglu. I really thought they would, give it until the middle of next season at least. He's delivered a trophy for them. You would think that of all the managers who have been given more of a chance and haven't delivered any trophies, you would think that they would just give him the time, especially when you look at the context of, the injuries that they've had throughout the season. But, they made a decision and, they made it early. So fair play to them in terms of that. But he really should have just gone and just done a whole mic drop moment, as I said earlier on. And yeah, big up. That's it for me.